Recently, Beijing has been deflecting blame by labeling all new COVID cases as being imported from abroad. In our earlier episode, we mentioned that the Prime Minister of New Zealand has expressed opposition. Someone shared this video clip which shows the Minister of Fisheries of Sri Lanka, who attempted to prove that there is no problem with their seafood. Someone replied, the CCP stopped seafood imports from Southeast Asia on the grounds that the new coronavirus cases were imported from abroad. That's why this Minister of Fisheries was anxious. Beijing claimed to have discovered the coronavirus on the packaging of products from 20 countries, including German pork, Brazilian beef, and Indian fish. But so far, it has refused to submit the testing results for international review. Canada claimed that Beijing's move lacked a scientific basis and was an unreasonable trade restriction. Someone mocked before finding a new source to deflect the blame to. The CCP will for sure claim that the virus from imported frozen food resulted in new cases. Someone replied, isn't this a new trade barrier after placing tariffs? Someone replied, the three most dangerous businesses at present are arms trafficking, drug trafficking, and ones that deal with frozen products, because every box must be disinfected, as seen in this video. Someone shared this video, which was said to be recorded at a Dubai airport. Some Chinese people were intending to transfer back to China, but were denied boarding, allegedly because the CCP required all to provide a double negative certificate for returning to the country. It is difficult to obtain such a proof in a terminal city. Someone shared, my friend just wanted to check with the Chinese embassy to confirm whether a green health code is needed to return to China. She sent an email written in Chinese to the embassy office, but the embassy did not reply. Her friend is a foreigner. She wrote an email in English to the embassy and received a response promptly. Afterwards, my friend wrote an email to the embassy in English as well. This time the embassy replied, but criticized her. They said, first, you are a Chinese citizen, and you are obligated to use the official Chinese language to communicate with the embassy staff. In principle, the email can be deemed as illegal if it was written in English, and thus we do not need to respond. Second, please refer to the official website of the Chinese Embassy in Canada for relevant notices and only reach out again to inquire afterwards. Thank you. Someone recalled, I had a similar experience. Once I was at the DC Embassy waiting to have a document notarized. I didn't see any staff member, nor did anyone pick up the call. In the end, nothing was done, and I had to find an intermediary agency to help. I suspected that the Chinese embassy and the intermediary agency were in collusion. Beijing does not treat Chinese people as its citizens at all. Someone recalled, I once called the embassy to inquire about something. I am proficient in Mandarin, and I was careful with my voice and made sure that it was gentle, polite, and restrained. But the staff I spoke with was extremely impatient and rude. She hung up before I finished speaking. My boyfriend is a Westerner. He then immediately volunteered to call on my behalf. It turned out that the embassy staff was humble and polite, although she didn't know the answers to the 3 questions that he asked. At least she let us know that she didn't know instead of hanging up the call. Someone recalled, when I was at the embassy, I witnessed a staff member yelling at an elderly woman who filled in the wrong form. The elderly woman looked like she was in her 70s and dressed like someone from the countryside. She was scolded, but dared not say anything. Someone shared a picture of the passport cover propagated by the CCP that had the words which read, when you encounter danger overseas, don't give up. Please remember that behind you there is a strong motherland. In fact, someone indeed believed it, and wrote this sentence on the back cover of his own passport. But he did not expect the consequences would be so serious that he was not allowed to leave the country, because border officials said his passport was scribbled, defaced, and altered. Someone shared about the situation of passport applications in some areas of China. In most areas, passport processing is postponed for non-emergency travels. In some places, appointments and consultations are allowed to be scheduled, and approval will be determined based on the review situation. In places like Chengdu, Xiamen, Shenzhen, and Qingdao, there is no review process at all. Application processing has been entirely suspended. Someone sent an inquiry to the CCP's Immigration Bureau on November 10th, asking when passport applications can be processed. The Immigration Bureau replied that if there are no special urgent and necessary reasons, it is recommended to postpone or cancel the travel plan. If there is indeed a need to go abroad for reasons related to school, employment, business, etc., you can apply for a passport through the Immigration Management Department of the Public Security Bureau. If the passport is about to expire or was lost, then there is no actual need to leave the country. You do not need to apply for a replacement. Please only do so when it is absolutely necessary. Someone replied, you can ask an overseas doctor to issue a certificate for the reason of going abroad to see a doctor, or you can ask a labor service company to give an approval for the reason of employment. Someone shared that on November 21st, a large pro-Trump rally will be held in Atlanta of Georgia. There will also be a parade and rally on Long Island of New York on November 22nd. On December 12th, D.C. will also hold a rally in support of Trump. Someone replied, now we need to stand up and fight for freedom. We should let more people hear the real voice of the so-called silent majority. Perhaps only by doing so, those who were brainwashed by the left will wake up. Since the media can no longer speak for the people should stand up and speak for ourselves. Someone replied, when facing injustice, silence is not gold, but sin.
Child, we will take you in. Child, we will bring you home. You'll be a flower that sees the spring. Soon a dove flying high.